The Dallas Cowboys, America's team. Who am I kidding, bro? It's the Cowboys, man. Oh, man. Remember last offseason when the Cowboys said that they were going all in and they proceeded to only sign, what was it, a long slapper and the corpse of Ezekiel Elliott? Well, hopefully this year is a little bit different because they have needs, tremendous needs at these positions. So, with that being said, let's talk about it. What can the Cowboys do to make it interesting in the NFC East? Well, I know this is a deep running back draft, and I know that a lot of people are going to be upset at this pick, but honestly, I don't think you can pass up on an Ashton Genty if he's available. He needs to be a Cowboy. I think he needs to be a Cowboy. I think your run game needs to be more explosive. It feels like they haven't had a running back to really break a game open, to really explode since Ezekiel Elliott. And I think, well, Ashton Genty could be that guy. Now, I mean, last year, the Dallas Cowboys were the 27th ranked rushing offense. I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see that again. I do think Rico Dowdle is a good player, but again, he isn't really that explosive. He had a 1,000 yard rushing season last year, so congratulations to him. But Ashton Genty needs to be the guy to be the running back one on this team. If you bring back Rico Dowdle on a team-friendly deal, I think that works too. How can you bring him back if you only have $2.4 million in cap space? Well, start off by extending Micah Parsons. Extend the man. Extend him. I know his podcasts sometimes get annoying, but this is the only true pass rush. This is the last pass rusher I can think of that was this good for the Cowboys was, I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence is obviously very good, but he's now washed now. What, DeMarcus Ware? I mean, yeah, I mean, that's really it. I can't think of another pass rusher. You guys let me know down in the comments if you guys can think of one. But I think Micah Parsons is a game breaker. I think he does everything relatively well, specifically rushing the quarterback. I think you extend him and increase some of that cap space. Next up, I think you restructure CeeDee Lamb. I think you try to bring in a wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver for Dak to throw to, a reliable wide receiver too. Cooper Kupp's going to be available. He's going to be available. You got Keenan Allen as well, even though Keenan Allen isn't exactly what he once was. He's a lot better than what you were dealing with. He's a lot better than Brandon Cooks, that's for sure. So I think you restructure CeeDee Lamb to get you that cap space. I don't know if they can restructure Dak's contract, honestly. I don't know if they do, they'd get a lot of money. But, man, that's so much money to push off for next year. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. Next up, I mean, this and the NFC East, I feel like is the division where they all kind of need interior defensive linemen, and it couldn't have come at a better time because, quite frankly, I mean, they're gonna need it. I mean, like the Oso Odigizua, sorry, he had a pretty solid year last year. But is it enough for you to re-sign him? 20 million a year is the projection on PFF. Don't think I want to pay him that much money. But I mean, I think you could let him walk and bring in somebody. You could bring in an Osa Odigizua. Now, if Ashton Genty isn't off the board, you could draft somebody there. You could draft somebody there. I'm forgetting the name, Kenneth Graham. If he's available, I believe the Cowboys are pick 12. If he's available there, I don't know if I'd pass him up. And then just letting Osa Odigizua walk. I don't know. We'll see what the Cowboys do because the Cowboys are one of the look, the owner Stephen Jones, or well, not the owner, but like the owner's son. owner's son, Stephen Jones, said that they were going to be selectively aggressive. I don't think there's too much you could be selectively aggressive for here in this free agency class, given the needs that you have. Terrence Steele got paid a couple of years ago, and he has not been worth that contract. You're probably going to cut him. Do you want to get a tackle in the draft? I think that's probably the best way forward. It's very weird for the Cowboys on what they have to do. And I know I'm making this video trying to figure out what they're going to do, but the truth is that the Eagles and Commanders are just so far ahead of them at this point that it's hard for me to really, when I was preparing for this video, it was like, how can I build a team that can make them better than what the Commanders are going to be next year and what the Eagles are going to be next year? And with the cap space, I mean, they're going to have to restructure so many contracts if they want that to happen, because they have so many contracts on the books. So honestly, I think cutting Terrence Steele is probably the move to go. You go to free agency. Ronnie Stanley's available. You have some solid tackles that are available, starting quality tackles that are available that are going to be a lot more productive than Terrence Steele was. And honestly, I don't think the defense is going to be bad next year, but it's really hard to really formulate some sort of plan to make the Cowboys become a contender. I don't see an avenue where they can. I can see them being a solid team this year, but do I think they're going to be a better team than the Commanders, than the Eagles? I don't know what they could do other than decide to restructure and extend a lot of contracts, to do a lot of team cuts and hit on a lot of draft picks. And given the fact that they have a lot of needs, it's rough right now. I mean, at corner, they need help as well. Like on top of wide receiver, a clear wide receiver too, them needing a clear wide receiver too. They need another running back. They need a tackle. Zach Martin just retired, so they're going to need a guard. It's very hard for me to come up with a plan right now, to come up with a plan for the Cowboys that makes them not third in this division. So, Cowboys fans, I say that the best thing you could do, draft well. Draft Ashton Genty, extend Micah Parsons. Hope Dax can live up to the contract that he has. Side a wide receiver in free agency. And make the most out of what is going to be this huge Dak contract, because quite frankly, it's going to be very tough for you guys.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.